Yetta, I'm really, really bored.
Perfect.
What do you mean perfect?
Boredom is a great setup.
Moving forward with the Dekker team. Moving forward together with the Dekker team.
So we're excited to welcome you to another episode of Life's Inside Track. I'm Yetta Dekker.
And I'm Ken Dekker.
And we're going to share techniques, thoughts, tips, tools, and tactics that we all need. We all deserve. You, I, everyone. So we can turn our house into home, our families thrive, and we live the best life possible. And what we're going to consider in this segment is that playfulness can't happen easily if you're not first bored. Like, boredom is a setup.
Right.
A good setup. So boredom is perfect. Now, as a kid, I would have told you that boredom was terrible.
Well, how many times did our kids say, I'm bored?
And I wish we had known what we knew now.
Yeah.
Because we would try and find them something to do and fill their space and get them moving and lose their boredom. And yet what we've learned since, and we're going to propose to you, is that boredom means there's room to imagine. When our mind is crammed or our life is crammed, our business, everything is crammed chock full.
So there's no margin.
Then there's no space to create. Then you just do the same old day in, day out, nothing new, nothing wonderful.
I think that's why when people draw, they don't draw typically on lined paper. They draw on blank paper.
Right, because you want a blank canvas. And boredom, it's kind of like your blank canvas.
Yeah, so maybe do that as a test. If you've got children, and maybe take away their devices for a while or limit the amount of time they're allowed to spend on a phone or a tablet or a computer. And then experiment with how long it takes them to be bored and then what they're doing after their boredom subsides because they create something. Are they drawing? Are they calling a friend? Are they
going out to play?
Yeah.
Are they going to go kick a ball around?
Are they playing on an instrument? Are they creating a song? Are they playing hide and seek? What are they doing? You know, are they creating something from scratch that didn't exist before?
And I might propose not only your kids, maybe your partner.
Try it with each other.
Try it with each other. We have done that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, give me that. Give me that thing that you're looking at that you're distracted in.
Oh, so when we play, we like to do puzzles. So when we're doing a puzzle, is that just filling the space to limit our creativity?
Sometimes. And sometimes there's also the thought of simple mindless, like doing the edge for me is habitual. I actually have amazing thoughts when I'm puzzling, especially if it's not complicated puzzling. And I keep a notebook next to me. And so that's actually a neat thing to think about is when you're in the boredom phase or habitually doing something that doesn't occupy your brain very much, then have a notepad next to you and a pen, better than a device. This was a tricky thing for me to learn.
It would be soggy.
What?
My notepad would be soggy because one of the habitual things that I do that doesn't take any mind is in the shower. And when I'm showering, sometimes I get my best thoughts.
Right. And so then keep the notepad beside your shower and come out and write it down. Okay,
right.
Can we do that?
Okay, I got you.
Okay, got it.
I also get them when I'm in the car.
And then I will actually say, hey, Siri, take a note.
Ooh, you've got an administrative assistant right there in your car?
And I don't even have to touch them. Don't have to get
Do you have a male voice or a female voice on Siri?
I prefer the male voice, actually.
Oh.
Yeah. The Australian male voice is my favorite.
Oh, okay, now we're getting personal.
And certain. And so creating little systems where when you set yourself up to move into boredom, it has been so good for us. Like even our book. How did we create that?
Well, how we create both of our books has been to get out of the norm to get away from the distractions. Hire, some of our team members take the business over. We typically go to somewhere like a resort, an all-inclusive resort or something where we don't have to think about where we're going to eat, what we're going to eat. We don't have to think about anything.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not do we play a little bit of sports or whatever? Sometimes.
Yeah,
we'll go for long walks. But really, it's creating the margin, the space, and we'll sit for hours and create and write and type. As a matter of fact, when I got back, I had like tendonitis in my elbows because of the position I was typing. I had my wrists up, which was not a good idea when I was typing thousands of words.
Exactly. So how do you empty your mind? How do you set up your environment? I'm getting personal. Remember you said a minute ago, get personal.
Yeah.
So now I'm getting personal with you. How do you, not you, Ken Dekker, you that we're connecting with, how do you create an environment so you can actually allow for, like, I challenge you to consider setting up your environment to allow for times of boredom. Allow for times in your mind where there's nothing there, because that's when the best stuff shows up.
Yeah, you look at Google. Google said, hey, let's do 80-20. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure they're still doing it. But for a while, they were doing 80-20, which meant 80% of the time an employee had to work on their task list, specifically what the company was giving them. And 20% of the time, they could work on something that they were passionate about, something that was creative. They could just think about what might serve Google in the future that didn't exist now. And things like Google traffic. Who hasn't used your Google and then you find out, oh, you see the red lines, it's all blocked up, or it's yellow, or it says, oh, there's an accident on this street, we're rerouting you to over here. That's Google traffic. That came from somebody's 20% of free thinking time. And so did Gmail. What would we do without Gmail? We use Gmail every day.
Like hundreds of times every day, right?
Yeah.
And so having those organizational things came out of somebody's boredom, lack of activity. And so when we say boredom, it's not just the distraction stuff, it's the busyness. Because a lot of busyness is productive. Not all busyness is productive, but a lot of the things I do, taking care of clients, booking appointments, scheduling gatherings, like all of the getting ready for things, cleaning up after things, like all those things are important. And they're not busy work, they're productive work, a lot of it. But can I take time and have nothing going on in our minds?
Well, I think we've been able to do that because
we have.
You look, I talk to some people and I say, oh yeah, I'm moving into the president of the Ottawa Real Estate Board for a volunteer position for the next year. We have very full businesses. We own the brokerage and we have Dekker team, which is helping clients. And then, I say to somebody, oh, we just wrote a book this year, Life X. And they say, well, when did you have time to do that? I go, actually, our spare time is when we did that.
Yeah, not our work time.
No, spare time. And you look at the imagination that is created. Like, look at the shows we used to watch, like the Jetsons and Star Trek and all these things. Mm-hmm. Many of those things came into play, were actually developed in the now when they thought they were so futuristic. Mm-hmm. So boredom unlocks the door to imagination, creativity, and innovation. And we're grateful to be partners on this journey of wealth, wisdom, and worth.
Moving forward with the Dekker team.